You also have something else very new and exciting coming,
Yeah.
a new adventure that you're starting in 2026.
Yes.
And you're fairly new to the healthcare field, I guess.
I am.
But tell me about that. Tell me what's going on now.
So I met you, Amanda, when I entered the assisted living space here in Louisville. I had worked for hospice in Indiana for several years prior. And you guided me. You answered some of my questions. We had coffee that day, which I appreciated. And I found my spot. I just I believed in the industry that senior citizens need that attention. They need that love and that care. And they took care of their families for a long time. And now we want to be a tool to help take care of them. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And their emotions are real. Just because they're that age doesn't mean they've sorted through everything. So I had a lot of success there and enjoyed that space. But a friend of mine that I had met while I was still with hospice was starting a new division of her canopy company and asked me last summer in July if I would come in as the executive director of a new lifestyle care, ANU's ANUE. A New Lifestyle Care is a personal services agency, which is a home care agency, and not to be confused with home health. Home health is clinical, where home care is non-clinical in its services. So we have applied for state licensure. That was an ordeal. It was a lot of regulations to sort through to answer the questions.
Red tape to get through.
Yeah, and that's all right though. I learned a lot. But we should be up and running in February. We're working with a wonderful group out of Lexington, local home called Bullhorn Creative that's building the brand. And that's been fun. We were sitting in a brainstorming meeting with them and they said, Mike, as the executive director, what is your goal? And I said, I envision a place that provides such a high quality of services. It's very dependable, where the family can be the family again, where the family doesn't have to be the caregiver, wherever that senior citizen calls home. And he said, I think we need to kind of market that tagline a little bit, and they have, but that's exactly our goal. We want the adult children to be able to go to work, raise their kids, go to the kids' sporting events, while we're helping to facilitate and honestly, in the type of concierge home care services that we're providing, it's borderline case management with them to help people like you as a realtor and working in that space and many others to help navigate those waters. Like what needs to happen? Do we need to downsize? Do we need to go to IL, AL? Where do we need to go?
And it's a lot to navigate. And, the great thing about Louisville is we have tons of opportunities and there's tons of great communities to call home, but then there's also lots of ways to keep home for as long as we possibly can. And I was going to ask you, and you kind of answered it, but what is the vision of ANU that makes them different from a lot of these home health companies that we have out here?
Couple of things. First of all, and thank you so much for taking time to ask me these questions. It means a lot. But first of all, we're not a franchise. My CEO and owner, she was the first group of franchisees with Visiting Angels and had an amazing level of success, opened multiple locations or branches, all in Wisconsin. So she has 25 years worth of experience. My experience coming from a ministry background of almost 30 years and then hospice and then senior living, we definitely understand what that journey looks like. The primary difference is we want to bring in services that will be able to facilitate that personal services agency license better. For instance, providing these individuals a wellness coach. We have contracted with a wound care company, bringing in some telemedicine. We're working hand in hand with Baptist Health Kentucky. They have been an amazing resource for me personally already. I got to go to President's Circle a couple of times in the last month, and helping them close that loop. Because what's happening is senior citizens, for instance, are being discharged from hospitals or rehabs, They've got 30 pages worth of discharge paperwork. They don't know how to navigate all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Let us come in. We're going to take care of mom or dad, grandma or grandpa. Let us help you navigate what needs to happen and what order does that need to happen in. We're using AI a lot, which pushes my 56-year-old bones to the boundary.
It pushes my 43-year-old bones.
But we're using it from initially from a recruiting standpoint, and then matching caregivers with
Yeah.
care recipients. And we're calling our caregivers care advocates. We love that because it's exactly what they're doing.
Mhm.
And we are part of Guardian Health staffing. So the recruiting piece, the hiring piece, we have that structure already in place.
Yeah. Well, I love that. It's such a holistic approach
It is.
to really taking all of these things into consideration. And I understand what you're saying about the hospital discharge because, prior to this, I worked in long-term care and would bring people in for rehab, and it just seems like so many balls get dropped from one place to the next, wherever that is, whether it's hospital to rehab, rehab to home, hospital to home. And those first, I would say 24 to 48 hours are pretty critical for someone who's just been discharged or has been ill or, had a surgery or whatever it is. So I think that's amazing that you guys are going to step in and help the families really understand and navigate these next steps, because that's only going to make their loved one more successful.
And to give them, so many senior citizens, whenever they're moving into the assisted living space of whatever level, they are losing independence. They are, and we can tell them all day long that they're not, but they are. This is a significant life change where they are going to spend probably the last small percentage of their time with their family here on the earth. We want to work with people like you that is helping those families with that adjustment. And when their loved one is pushing back and say, I can remain at home, well, let us come in and help navigate those waters. We can provide some care for safety. And then in care plan meetings that we are very adamant about, to have that discussion with the client as well as their family and say, hey, these are the things we've noticed.
Yeah.
And it's time.
Yeah.
It's time to start thinking about what's next. Let's get this 3,500 square foot house sold and maybe go to a condo or a patio home.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
Or maybe it is senior living. And I know those people that are in those spaces that are executive directors and marketing directors. And they're an amazing group of people in this city, aren't they?
Yeah, we do. We have incredible people in the healthcare field here. We're so lucky to have people that really want to help families.
And goosebumps thinking about it, how amazing they are.
Yeah, and it's, I think people get overwhelmed about the thought of change or what happens next. But I love being a resource and having great people like you to help. I always say it takes a village to make these types of things happen, and we can bring the village to them and make sure that these types of transitions are successful.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and I'm so excited for Anew to come out here in January 2026. And
be watching for us.
I will. I'm excited to see what happens for you guys. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate it.